They gathered where the promise had last been whispered, the upper room. 120 hearts, suspended between memory and mystery. The air was thick with prayers, yet silent with longing. He had told them to wait for something, unseen, untamed, unstoppable. And so they waited. Fear kept the doors closed, but hope kept their hearts open. Every flicker of the oil lamp seemed to echo his words, "I will not leave you as orphans." And though they did not know it, heaven was already bending low, preparing to breathe again. Then it happened, not with warning, not with measure. A sound, fierce, like wind unbound from eternity, filled the house. Walls trembled, lamps quivered, and hearts awakened. It was not a storm that came from outside, but the breath of God returning to his creation. Fire appeared, not to destroy, but to divide. Tongues of flame settled upon each one, and they burned without burning out. In that moment, heaven spoke the language of humanity, and humanity began to speak the language of heaven. The Word that once walked beside them now lived within them. They gasped, not in fear, but in rebirth. Every breath they took carried flame. They spoke, and their voices turned into rivers of living sound, languages they had never learned, yet every heart under heaven could understand. It was as if Babel itself had been undone. The Spirit had made one people from many, and many. Voices from one fire. Their fear melted like wax before the dawn. For what once hid behind closed doors now poured into the streets, unashamed, uncontainable, unstoppable. Love had become wind. The city stirred, pilgrims from every nation drawn by the sound. "What is this?" they cried. And Peter, once silent, now stood aflame. No longer the man who denied, but the man reborn in fire. He spoke with the weight of eternity. "This is that which was spoken by the prophet. I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh." And as he preached, the same fire leapt from word to heart to heart, until 3,000 souls caught flame. The kingdom had found its voice. Heaven had found its home. That day, something eternal was born, not an institution, but a heartbeat. They broke bread, they prayed, they shared everything as if nothing was their own. The Spirit wove them together like living threads of one tapestry. Wherever they went, miracles followed, because the breath still moved. They were no longer a people who believed in resurrection. They were resurrection. The same power that raised Christ from the dead now pulsed in human veins, and the world would never breathe the same again. The breath of God did not stay in that room. It rushed through nations, generations, and centuries. Every revival, every whisper of faith, was the echo of that first divine inhale. It is the same Spirit that lifts the fallen, heals the broken, and ignites the hopeless. You cannot cage the wind, you cannot silence fire, and you cannot unbreathe the breath of God. For once heaven exhaled, history itself began to burn with purpose, and the church became the lungs of eternity. The same fire still burns, not in temples made by hands, but in hearts that remember the upper room. It whispers in your quiet surrender and roars when you dare to believe again. The Spirit has no past tense. It is now, it is breath, it is life. For every trembling soul who waits in faith, the wind still comes, the flame still falls, and the word still breathes. Receive the Holy Spirit. The world may grow dark, but the church was born for such darkness, and the fire still speaks.